Especially too, this really happened. My niece came to me and she said, I got a question. I want you to come in and look at my car. Normally when they tell me they have a question, it's something that they want fixed. But she had no idea what this problem was going to cost. So I went out and she had a donut on her car, her spare tire, front driver's side. And she was explaining to me that she had a bump on the highway. Upon close examination, I removed the tire because I couldn't see too much. When I removed the tire, the lower control arm was cracked. A part of it was cracked in half. I looked at the strut, it was bent. And I looked at the outer tie rod, it was bent. I thought, what did she hit? She said not only did she hit this object on the road, at least 12 or more cars, the same thing. She said the cops showed up and did their report and told them the city has to pay for this, but it's going to take years. So I wanted to look at her tire. So I popped the trunk, and the tire had this big, huge hole in it, and a chip of the rim was missing. So I went online to find out how much these parts were going to cost. When I finished, I told her, from what I saw so far, over $700, between $600 and $700. And she, what? So she thought, well, I'm going to go to the junkyard and see if I can find these parts. I told her, you're not going to find these parts on a shelf. When you go to the junkyard, you're going to have to travel around the city to locate everything you need, trying to get it cheap. So she was excited. She came and told me that this guy said, I can get all this stuff for $88. That was funny to me. She tried. She searched. She traveled. She was exhausted. She came back and told me the parts that they were going to sell me was junk, rusted, didn't look right. I let her waste her time, but that's what she wanted to do, so I just stood back and waited. She said, okay now. I'm going to get these parts from wherever you told me I need to get them, which was AutoZone. Or, if she wanted to wait it, she could have went on eBay and got them even cheaper, or maybe half the price. This is what I did. I looked up all the prices on AutoZone. They were high. Listen to this. The damaged rim would have been over $500 to replace. The lower control arm, $172.99. $172.99 for the lower control arm. Tie rod end, $42.99. I mean, this was just the outer tie rod end. Looks like the inner tie rod end was bent also. And the strut, $218. Look at eBay. The rim, $229.99 on eBay for the rim. The lower control arm, $196 for both of them, the left and the right. tie rod in 26/16 for the left and the right. You get both the left and right tie rod. The inner tie rod was 34.03, way low. And to replace the strut, $182. However, I called Firestone to get an estimate, and they told me it'd be $1,988.68. And they said you can't just replace one strut, you have to replace them both at the same time. And then you have to get the rebalancing. But to replace all that stuff, almost $2,000. But we got it done. We got it done cheap, we got it done fast. I installed the lower control arm, or I had let her help me. We installed the strut, the lower control arm, and I straightened out the tie rod. I was able to straighten out the tie rod. That's another story. I got the soy ball linkage back in place. So she took all day to go and find her a rim that matched her car. It took all day, but in a junkyard, her and a friend found it. And they got a tire on, and the car is running fine. The adversity to this really happened. One bump can cost you. I told her to come here. Let me show you how easy this is to put on. She was delighted. She had fun. And she asked me, that's it? That's it. Adversity to this really happened. And sometimes changing out these parts are really not that difficult. I could not get the bolts off, so I had to take my grinder and grind them off and install some new ones. But as far as unbolting, rebolting, 1, 2, 3. And the strut, unbolting 4 bolts on top, the 2 bolts at the bottom, pull it out, remove the brake line, remove the ABS sensor line, the strut's out. Diversity tool. Oh shoot! Oh, it went back down by itself. Go ahead. This really happened.
These are the 3 bolts to the top of my strut. I'm using a 5/8 socket to unscrew it.
Just slide it back. Okay. We got to get the I think that was the sensor cable. Then on the left side we got the brake cable, but we have to screw that off. It's got a bolt on it, connect to the bracket. So let me get. She's getting the strut out. Make sure it's not touching nothing. Okay, she just got the old strut out. Okay, I've got my got the soy ball linkage boots off there. Come up in here. Turn this bar in the lower control arm. This space here, and I took my fork and knock my lower control arm off from here. After I got the screw loose, then I knocked it off, then took the screw the rest of the way off. With the bolt, the nut there. Just need to knock this bolt back. And over here, it's already cracked. It's already cracked off, but I still need to get those bolts out.
Look at the old strut to make sure the new strut is matching the same position. If not, you can turn it to adjust it the same way.
Okay, we got the lower control arm back on here. The bolt through there. And my nut on top here. Just screw it down. But I need a grease pen, grease fitting under there. I can fill that boot with grease. And over here, we have to go and buy 2 new bolts because I had to grind those off. They would not come off. It's going through the frame. There's 2 bolts there. And the control arm will be off. Got the springs installed the other day. Had to be attached to the brake line. And find a way to get the ABS sensor line attached. Find something to connect here off the old one. And we have a bent outer tie rod, and busted tie rod. I'm going to replace that anyway. So